So hello, you're welcome to another insightful episode of AAU Talks, the voice of higher education in Africa. My name is Ajiman Otredako, and today we're discussing entrepreneurial education in Africa, the contribution that entrepreneurial education is making in Africa. You know, the African Development Bank has made broader ratings that we've had 22% of the working population in Africa into entrepreneurship or all entrepreneurs. And according to the institution, this is the highest entrepreneurship rate in the world. Much as it is good, entrepreneurship does not evolve just like that. It has to be nurtured, and we rely on our higher education institutions as a point of reference when it comes to nurturing good skills and talent for entrepreneurship. So today I have with me Dr. Musibaudeen Olatunde Idris from the University of Osun State, a senior lecturer at the department. And we'll be talking to him about entrepreneurial education and its contribution in Africa towards building robust, skillful, and talented entrepreneurs. So, Doc, if you can hear me, you're welcome to AAU Talks on AAU TV.
Thank you, Mr. Dako. As you have said, my name is Dr. Musibaudeen Olatunde Idris from the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Osun State University in Nigeria.
Sure. Thank you very much. From the Department of Mechanical Engineering and the Osun State University in Nigeria. I'm also speaking to you from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities in Accra, Ghana. So it's nice having you on the show. So we'll start with the profound question about your perspective of entrepreneurial education in the African context. From your perspective, how do you find entrepreneurial education in the African context?
Thank you, Mr. Dako, and thank you, the listener. Now, when you talk of entrepreneurship education is a kind of a system whereby you want to change an individual towards a particular goal, which is for him to be able to identify opportunity and make use of it. So now, as a result of this, when you look at the cultural background in the world, Africa has their own peculiar background, cultural background, which has to do with what they value. What they refer to as opportunity may be different. So as a result of this, there's a need to have African entrepreneurship, whereby it's going to be tailored towards what African value, towards the culture, the social norms in Africa. So this is when we can have a way out of this problem that unemployment is causing our society. So that is when the entrepreneurship will be able to meet its target. So that is what we call the African entrepreneurship. That is a kind of entrepreneurship that has to be tailored towards the African values and norms.
Okay. Well, so on the fact that we should tailor entrepreneurship into the African value and norms, then the issue comes with we have people in Africa who naturally did not enjoy any luxury of education or any support educational wise, but are doing very well in entrepreneurship. I mean, they have the skills to trade, they have the skills to identify opportunities and provide solutions for it, which is the bedrock of entrepreneurship. So there's an argument that then what is the element or what is the extent, to what extent does entrepreneurial education makes a difference in this instance? Because we have naturally bonded people who are skillful in entrepreneurship. Therefore, what is the extent of entrepreneurial education in this context for our environment?
Thank you. When you look at this category of people, those people that they have into the entrepreneurship without any formal education, if you look at them critically, you see, when we talk of entrepreneurial education, it's not only to impact the skill, but at the same time, to expose them to how to manage this business. That is where we have the education. And when you look at African in general, culturally, is an inborn in Africa. Hardly can you see a particular home, a particular family. When you trace them down, you realize that they have a particular vocation that they were doing in their family. So along the line, majority of people just take into this thing. But when you look at the importance of education, one, in order to enhance their skill, to promote it, for them to be able to relate with the modern world, so they need education. And at the same time, most of these people, when they were in this entrepreneurship stuff, you realize that they were there with their body, not with their mind. Okay. What I mean with their body is that anytime they have opportunity of leaving that entrepreneurship, they will leave the place. Maybe the government just throw out a particular palliative that for the people that don't have job, come and take this one. For instance, in Nigeria, we have the Empower stuff and so on. Most of these people that they are into entrepreneurship, they were also into this Empower. Why? Because they don't understand, they don't have the mindset for entrepreneurship. And this is where education comes in. You have to remodel the mind of these people. You have to instill in them the importance and the dignity in entrepreneurship, so they will be able to retain there. So saying that they don't need the education, and that is why our entrepreneurship, our economy is growing back in Africa. We are not ready to learn the modern ways of doing things. So these people have to be educated. So they'll be able to, they have the skill. They have the skill, not that or that one. But they need education to transform this skill to what the market value nowadays.
Okay. Then on that premises, we will say then what kind or what sort of entrepreneurial education is required in this instance? What kind of entrepreneurial skills or knowledge or guide do we need in our setting as Africans?
Thank you very much. When you look at entrepreneurship education, we can look at it from three ways. Okay. Number one, you talk of education for entrepreneurship. Okay. You talk of education about entrepreneurship, and you talk about education in entrepreneurship. Okay. The first one, for entrepreneurship, this is a situation whereby you impart the skill into the training. That is for entrepreneurship. Different types of skill, how to do this, how to do that. Not because they have interest in entrepreneurship, but as a result of they are looking for a job. They were looking for something to do. So we have this one there. Now, the second aspect, which is entrepreneurship about education about entrepreneurship. You want people to know the importance of entrepreneurship. You want the pedagogies, the methodology in which you are going to touch the mind of the trainee. That even if you give him a paid job, he will not take it. He will prefer to use his own skill to create job for himself. Even if somebody does not have the skill and you have the interest, the mindset to set up your own venture, you will seek for the skill. You will look for the skill. But if the mind is not there, even if they give you the skill, you will not make use of it. You will not think of how to develop it, how to make it useful for the society. So the type of education that we should look into in Africa now is education whereby we touch the mind of the youth or the training. And at the same time, I want to add, there is this concept of indigenous entrepreneurship. Okay. Indigenous entrepreneurship. We need it in Africa. The ideas of buying, you said, now, we need it in Africa. Sure. Now, because indigenous entrepreneurship, that we look at our environment. Mm-hmm. What are the resources that we have in our environment? We look at the limitation in our capital and the human resources. That is where we are going to tailor our entrepreneurship towards what we have. Because when you now impart the knowledge of this Western world, the Asian world, entrepreneurship to them, there is no facility to implement it. What else? The education is going to be useless. So we need this aspect to touch the mind of the training, the younger ones in Nigeria, in Africa, and at the same time, we have to lay emphasis on indigenous entrepreneurship. It has been with us in memorial, but along the line, we lost the track. So we have to go back to the basis of indigenous entrepreneurship, and at the same time, how are we going to instill entrepreneurship mindset into the African youth, so they will be able to willingly, consciously, they will take into entrepreneurship.
Splendid. Sure. Then I would want to make a follow-up on that one. That can you help us with some institutions in Africa who are walking the talk with good theory in application and also a robust and well-defined practical trend that is tailored to enable students be entrepreneurial, to become very good entrepreneurs from your institution and other institutions you know that are doing something that will really focus in building a great hub of entrepreneurs in Africa?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Daba. Now, let me just limit myself to what is going on in my institution,
Sure.
Osun State University in Nigeria, as I've said.
Okay.
In this our institution, we have a theoretical class. In our institution, all students, irrespective of your discipline, either in engineering, humanitarian, art, law, health sciences, and so on, you have to take at least one entrepreneurship course.
Okay.
We have some departments that they take two. This one is a class work whereby the lecturer will teach you the managerial skill, the accounting, business stuff of entrepreneurship. That when you are into the system, you will be able to handle your accounting. You don't need to go and look for somebody. How do you relate with the finances houses, the banks, insurance, and so on? They are going to be taught on this one. And at the same time, you are going to be taught what I call education about entrepreneurship, the importance of it. Now, after that one, the classwork, in our university, we also have internship, a weekend program for our students. They will come and learn a particular job, a particular vocation, in which may be related to their discipline or their interest. And we have some of our students key into it. Every weekend they will come, we have the entrepreneurs, we have the centers, whereby these students will learn it. After that one, we have the follow-up. The management has a follow-up package for our alumni. Okay. Now, the university provides a soft loan of 200,000 naira. Okay. 200,000 naira for any interested graduate that has a fine idea, a proposal of entrepreneur, that want to become an entrepreneur. The university is ready to provide 200,000 naira loan for such a student to do what? To become a self-employed graduate. This is what we are doing. And at the same time, we have some research that is going on in our university. In particular, in the mechanical engineering department, we have some researchers that are working on the issue of the curriculum, engineering curriculum. Because there's a new concept now that is now a kind of a new in Africa. That is engineering entrepreneurship. When you look at engineering, by the virtue of their training, they're supposed to be the one to be producing jobs, because they produce products that we use. But most of these students, they just, after graduation, they will still be looking for jobs. Sure. So we now look at what is the problem. The problem is that this entrepreneurship that they were learning has not been integrated into their curriculum, to their core course. When the student of engineering is in the class, and you are teaching him F is equal to MA, that is the basic formula equation in engineering. Force is equal to mass times acceleration. Now, the student should be able to, you have to, at the end of that lecture, the student should be thinking of how am I going to create job from F equal to MA? Not that how am I going to score A at the end of the day in the course. So we have to look into what we call the curriculum of the course. In some developed countries, Europe, American, they have integrated entrepreneurship into engineering curriculum. They call it engineering entrepreneurship. In our university, we are also into that one. And at the same time, we also have a proposal to have a postgraduate program in engineering entrepreneurship. Okay. Now, why do we have this one? You will realize that majority of people that are now going for postgraduate study, you ask them, where are you now going for postgraduate study? Because they want to have master, they want to have PhD, for them to be able to get job. Yes. It's not to create job. So we now look at in our university that, okay, let us have a program, the postgraduate program, when we have first degree coming back to us. We will now have to change their mind. Sure. You are coming in, come and take engineering entrepreneurship. So when you now graduate, you will not look for a job, but you will now look at what you have learned in your first degree to now use it to produce job. So we now have postgraduate students still looking for job in the field of engineering. We are doing that one in our university. There's a proposal now that is going on to have it. Because when you look at the statistics now, you have in Nigeria over 70,000 people with PhD, no job. Over 119,000 with master without job. Okay. So we have that program in our university. So in summary, what I've said that in our university, or should say university, we have a theoretical class whereby we talk about entrepreneurship. Yes. We have the practical class where we talk about, in that case, we talk for entrepreneurship. That is for entrepreneurship. We teach them the skill in weekend. Then we also have the curriculum development that has been started with some experts in that area to now talk about what? Education and entrepreneurship, whereby the curriculum will change the mind of the student. Then we're also assisting them with loans and so on. Then we are into postgraduate study in engineering entrepreneurship.
That is great.
I know of this, our university, that we are doing at present.
That is great. That's amazing. But let me seek your opinion on this one. Would you think there's a need for us to integrate entrepreneurship education in every discipline? Even though it may sound a bit adventurous, because it's something we have to explore. Are there not some challenges that may come through because liberal arts and the other discipline sciences are not naturally in tune with entrepreneurship because it's meant for business thinking people? So how can those in the sciences, the medicine areas also integrate and also imbibe in their art some aspect of entrepreneurial education? What is your view on that?
Thank you. When you look at this category, for example, the engineering, the sciences, and so on, that even in medical line, they need entrepreneurship. It should be imbibed in their program. Because a medical doctor now, when you finish, you should be thinking of how to create your own job, how to have your own clinic. Someone in law, you should be thinking of how to have your own chamber, not looking for government to employ you. So all this one, they have to key into entrepreneurship. Now, when you look at the liberal arts, maybe something like English, like history, and so on like that. Now, you see, when you talk of entrepreneurship education, it has two faces. Yeah. It's going to assist you, equip you with skill, innovative skill, that you can use to create your own job. And at the same time, if you are employed, you will use that innovative ideas to promote your job. That we call entrepreneurship. So when you learn it, definitely you are going to make use of it in your own field. Either you have created your own job or you are being employed, you are going to create it. And at the same time, you see, the way the world is going now, the economy of the world and so on, even if you are being employed, you should be thinking of creating your own personal job. You should not wait when you are retired. So entrepreneurship education, which you learn, will assist you how to form a business venture, how I'm going to manage it, what kind of risk can I take. All these things are going to be learned in entrepreneurship education. So nobody is left out in entrepreneurship education, not only in the university. Even the government, the policymakers should even go out. Those people that we feel that they are not in the formal education, we should also teach them this entrepreneurship education. Sure. This one will assist them, the artisan on the road and so on like that. We have to teach them this, they have to have this knowledge so they'll be able to improve on their work. So nobody is left out. It's a type of education that we must all key into, irrespective of your status or your discipline.
Then, Doc,
we have own clarities.
Sure. Then we want to end by asking you that from where you sit, what are some of the critical success factors you think that must be in place so that young entrepreneurs would be able to thrive successfully, providing that these factors are in place and are working appropriately from the macroeconomic point of view and even a micro point of view? What factors should we find happening to create that viable environment for young entrepreneurs in Africa to thrive so the numbers we have can grow?
Thank you very much. You see, we have some researchers that they believe that entrepreneurship cannot be taught. they believe that it's inborn. But recent happenings we realize that entrepreneurship can be taught. Now, this is the first of the social factor that has to be put in place. A comprehensive and effective educational structure. Because when you look at the majority of our unemployed people, they were educated one. Do you agree with me? They were the educated one.
Yes.
Now,
yeah, they've not been to school.
You see, people that are not into school system, they will just find something to do.
Sure.
But people that in this class and so on, educated one, when they graduate, they will be looking at their own status. They can't go into this one.
Yes.
So these people, they need education. So we have to put in place a comprehensive and effective entrepreneurship education that we not necessarily impart the skill, but at the same time, talk about education that is touch their mind. We have to put that in place. How to put it in place? We have to look at the educators, the lecturers that are taking these courses.
Yes.
They just have to look at what is going on in the world today. How are you going to integrate this idea of entrepreneurship to everything? When you go to the class, it should be a kind of evangelical mission. When you go to the classroom, anything that you are teaching your student, you put it there for them. Let them know that, mind you, my student, you can make life with what I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you adjective, I'm teaching you verb. You can make your life by using this idea. The lecturer, we have to put those one in place. Then at the same time, we need funding. The government has to come into our aid in this area. In tertiary institution, we need incubator center, entrepreneurship incubator center. In Union, we are working on something like that. We call it entrepreneurship. We call it indigenous entrepreneurship village.
Okay. Whereby
the practical aspect of it, the student will see themselves. They will go there, they will produce something, you give them the opportunity to go and sell it. And when they sell it, they realize, I'm the one who produced this thing, I can make money from there. So we need funds to have the structure. You want to impart the skill, you need infrastructures, you need machinery, you need all these things to assist this way. So we need funds, the government have to come into it. Then the synergy between the government, the researcher, the people, the lecturer in the university, and the business people in the industry. We just have to come together, round table, which this superiority, I'm the one superior is not coming. The government should provide their own, though they are trying. In Nigeria, we have TED-Fund grant and so on like that for research. Then the lecturer should also be thinking that my research output should not necessarily for Q1 papers. Okay. It should be for the people in the industry. Okay. Because the research is now, how am I going to meet the Q1 target, all those things. We should also be having it in mind that how am I going to meet the business people, the people in the industry, how are they going to buy my idea? So this one has to come in place. Then there's a particular social norms that we have to address in order to have way out. It's a kind of a sentiment that people into entrepreneurs, they are second-class people. People that they don't have job, people that are not educated, those are people that go into entrepreneurship. We have to erase that one. How can we do it? It's a mobilization. Sure. We have to let people know that entrepreneurship is not for the second-class people. It's for the people that want to promote the economy of the nation. This is cultural perception of the people that we just have to address. Then, as I have said, a kind of synergy have to come in place. The government play their role. People in tertiary institutions have to play their role. Then the people in industry, they just have to come together to share their ideas and put it. Then at the same time, I have said, people outside the four corners of world of the institution, we just have to take this thing to them also. So all these things has to be in place, the education, the fund, the infrastructure, the security, and so on. So it's going to assist, maybe the energy and so on. Because people that are going to entrepreneurship, they need energy. We should look at indigenous entrepreneurship. Let us start from there.
Okay.
It doesn't need much resources. It doesn't need much capital. So people will be able to key in from the grassroots and move up. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Musibaudeen Olatunde Idris from the Osun State University in Nigeria. We thank you so much for your time with us and also the knowledge and impact you made on this show with your points about how we could enhance entrepreneurial education in Africa. And also the case study you gave with the Osun State University is very applaudable. I want to say big kudos to Osun State University for your policies to help your students in entrepreneurship. And I believe that other universities in Africa would also collaborate and perhaps learn from your footsteps or footprint to help their students to become better entrepreneurs where they are. Really appreciate your time on the show. So thank you very much for everyone who watched this show. We thank you for your comments. Dr. Musibaudeen will be available for any comment that you bring on board. We will send it to him for him to answer them, and then when they are answered, we'll have a next episode so we could answer all the inquiries or the questions you brought on board concerning entrepreneurial education in Africa. We want to thank you very much for your time watching the show, and have a nice day. Bye. So bye, Doc, and bye, everyone.